Let's do the fork in the garbage disposal. Ding, 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 ding. Welcome to VGB's podcast episode 26. We're really firing on all cylinders today. I'm one of your hosts, John Ward. With me is my forever co-host, Niki Grayson, who's thinking right now. Oh, is that your new kind of like sign on? Oh, I like it. I like it. It's good. Oh, okay. So it'll just kind of be the whole show. All right. Well, this will be interesting. Because I was gonna ask you about everything you know about Fortnite, but it's gonna be really hard to actually give a dissertation in Fortnite. Oh. It's actually the lowest rated episode. I'm going to go back like in a year. Note to self. I'm going to go back in a year and see one of these episodes is the least listened to. This is
You think it's bad to start the episode with that? Is what you're saying?
I think it's bad to start the episode with everything we've done. a hard cut on the music. 2 versions of Let's Do the Fork in the Garbage Disposal. Whatever that was that you were just doing, like we're really hitting
There's so much post-nasal drip happening in my
What
body.
happened? Did you get sick?
I took a nap and I woke up and now I'm having some sort of allergy. And I was telling Jordan that it feels like there's a million ants crawling on my hard and soft palates right now.
Oh.
Which is true because that's what it feels like. And then while I was doing those noises a moment ago, a lot of people were like, wow, that was Foley. Like you got the guy that Denis Villeneuve got for Dune. But no, that was me. That was me the whole time.
Wait, which part of Dune? Which part of Dune was that?
Have you not seen that video of the guy describing how he got the worm noise? And he was like, for a really long, he was like, it took me a long time to figure out how to make the worm noise. And then he was like, I wonder if I could just do it. And then in the video, he tilts his head back like he's a bird about to receive food from its mother. And then he drops a lav mic directly into his throat while he like inhales and gargles. And then he plays it and then he plays it back and you're like, that doesn't sound right. And then he turns a dial and he like he does something to the sound. And it sounds like the worm from Dune.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of that is that if you basically adjust the knobs enough on any sound, you can pretty much get it to sound like however you want.
The worm, yeah.
Yeah, you get 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon, more like 6 degrees to worm noise.
Worm noise. Also, something is going on where like it's hot. Now it was cold before, but now it is hot again.
It's hot in Los Angeles again. That's not good. That's annoying. It's time for it to not be hot.
I agree. It's the end of November. Never forget the end of November.
That's right. Never forget the end of November. That's what the settler said.
That's what he said
at the first Thanksgiving.
That's what Guy Hex says. Guy Fricks. He says, never forget her.
Never forget the end of
November.
That's right.
A bug just tried to fly in my mouth.
Now we're not doing great today. Yeah.
Our liberties are being taken.
Our liberties are being attacked. We're having to record this a day early because I had a schedule snafu.
Well, if it helps, and I'm really happy to reveal this to you, I'm not available to record tomorrow. So, and I thought that I told you prior.
You probably did but the way that
you're
gone on
yesterday,
Friday,
yes, but I'm on the airplane.
Also, right.
Yes.
And I forgot.
Yes.
That.
Yes. But the way that it was framed yesterday made it seem as if you had forgotten, and that's because you had forgotten.
I had forgotten.
So in actuality, it's good that we're doing it this way because we had to. There was no choice. Because I will be in fucking B-35 on a Southwest flight to Kansas City this time tomorrow.
Kansas City.
I slept through my alarm for to board to check in. And I'm in B35 with the poor people.
Oh, because they don't do
instead
the first
of B1 like an
seating
adult
now. That's wild. Did you lament the end of that, or are you happy that that's gone?
I don't care. It's a fucking bus. I'll get there, you know?
Yeah, I know. That's always kind of how I felt. People, like, everyone's like, oh, it's amazing. You get on first. It was like, fucking have a disability from birth. You get on first no matter what.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit?
Also, like, getting on the plane early is not a blessing. It's a curse. Because you're in the tube for longer. Why would I want that?
They all, like, with a smile go, all right, sir, you'll be let on the plane first. We just ask you that you wait till your wheelchair is brought up to leave the plane. Meaning, I'm first on, last off. Which means I spend an hour or more than everyone else on the plane.
Mm-hmm. That's not a blessing.
No, it's not a blessing.
You want a C boarding group, actually, because it means that you have to get on the plane later, especially on an airline where you have assigned seating. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. I think the disabled thing should, like, I think it's convenient for them, for us to get on first and last. It's not convenient for me. Well, therefore, we need an additional convenience added to us. Like, I should be able to move 4 people.
Wherever you want on the plane.
Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter who. Just at will, I'm like, I'll take a look at some hot shot dipshit that sits in first class. I go,
back.
Very back.
Very back. Toilet.
Very, very back.
Yeah. Why don't you start, John, arriving? Why don't you just start being the last person to board?
They get really stressed about that.
But what are they going to do? Not let the plane go?
Nothing. But they will get stressed about it. And here's the part that does matter. I think they take it out on my wheelchair.
Oh yeah, they toss it down the stairs.
Yeah, they kind of slinky that thing down the stairs if I show up late, because they're like, we're gonna get a wheelchair in first.
Fuck this, and they toss it down the steps.
Yeah, dumb. I played a game today called S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2: Heart of Chernobyl.
Did it work?
It did work. It was not as like breathtakingly broken as I was led to believe. I think that day 1 patch probably helped.
Okay. That's good.
But S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, for the uninitiated, is the official sequel to S.T.A.L.K.E.R, a game that came out, oh boy, what was that, 10 years ago, 14 years ago, 15 years ago?
It's the most annoying person you know's favorite game.
It's so funny because like there are people that I love with all my heart who also adore this game, but it is a very clear extreme spectrum. It's like people I know who I adore love this game, or genuinely the most annoying people in this space are like,
love it.
I love soccer.
And there's nobody in between.
There's no one in between.
It's an inscrutable mess.
It is a game series that is celebrated for its brutality, its lack of hand-holding, and kind of just being a little Dark Soulsy in how it kind of luxuriates, and I think you kind of getting fucked up. And in that way, it's very funny. It's a very funny game. I'll tell you, in the first 2 hours, I came across like a chasm where I could see the marker was pointing me toward this city, but it was very dark outside. So I did take kind of a Wile E. Coyote step in that direction and fell completely to my death immediately. And it was like, it did not look that high, but it was high enough to kill me immediately.
That's good.
Without really warning you, they just throw a invisible, shape-shifting, kind of open, gaping mouth vampire guy at you.
Sick. Is that the stalker? Are you the stalker?
You are the stalker. Stalker, I believe, refers to basically the people that are in the Russian wasteland exploring this area. So it is a brutal, cool first-person shooter. If you think about like Fallout and Metro having some sort of weird baby that also just kind of doesn't care if you live or die, that's a little bit what Stalker is. And my first couple hours with Stalker 2 was fun. I had to kind of plan out a couple of firefights where like, because it's a little bit like Call of Duty. You get shot a couple times, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not spongy. But neither is anyone else. And so if you pop one of these dudes in the head, they're gone. You know what you can't pop in the head and they're gone once are the mutant bullfrogs that will try to kill you. Man, they suck.
What happened over there?
Just big radiation problem.
Oh, from the aforementioned Chernobyl.
From the aforementioned Chernobyl. Now, I want to be very clear, and it should be clear to anybody that plays Stalker. This is not a game series that I'm abundantly familiar with. I played a little bit of the original, and I've kind of lived vicariously through other people who have really enjoyed these games. But this is the first time in a long time I've actually kind of spun one of these up and played it. A lot of the early reviews are essentially exactly what people expect from Stalker series, which is essentially this thing is really broken and it's like pretty brutal and hates you. But if you like any of that, you're really going to like this game.
Okay.
What I do know is that there is more hand holding at the beginning than I think maybe familiar fans of this genre or this series would expect. It's a little bit of kind of Bethesda-ing like, hey, we got to at least show you some stuff. But the amount of the stuff that they don't tell you is a lot. Sure. And they also kind of thrust you into it pretty fast. So
maybe I'll play this one.
I think you would be genuinely pretty scared about it.
Oh, cool. It's a fucking video game. How are you not gonna get me?
Well, it's on Game Pass.
You described frogs and invisible guys. It's can't see the second thing.
It's on Game Pass.
Oh, it's free.
It's easy.
How big is it?
It's huge. It's like 100 something gigs. It's massive.
I'm all right.
It's massive. It's like his biggest Call of Duty, I think.
There's an issue with my home where whenever the Xbox downloads something, it eats all of the bandwidth. And it's just the Xbox. It eats the whole bandwidth of the whole internet in the home. And it's only the Xbox. And I don't know how to fix it because when I go into my router app to look at all of the things connected to the network, the Xbox is not named. It's just a bunch of numbers on half of the items. So it doesn't work. So I don't know what to do about it.
Huh.
It's fine. I just try to download stuff at night now. Which is like, what's the point of having the fat pipes if I have to do this shit overnight anyway?
That's pretty goofy. Yeah.
So
but it's only when you're downloading something. It's not like when you're playing.
When I'm playing, it's fine. It's only when it's downloading. It's like it gets the whole pipe and it says this is for the Xbox, right? And then I'm like, no. There's other people in the house. It has to. I need to. What am I going to do while I'm downloading the game? Xbox, and then it says no. So
weird.
It's terrible. Yeah,
that is terrible.
But that sounds cool. What are you trying to do?
It's very open-ended. You're basically you're thrown into this thing, and you're basically there are these anomalies that happen. There are these kind of radiation events that happen that are supernatural in kind of their expression, and you're looking for kind of artifacts and sensors to basically like measure these anomalies and stuff like that. And then you're kind of like thrust into basically a conflict between different factions pretty quickly.
Okay. Do you get to choose to be friends with any of them?
You can basically, so far, you can basically still kind of like take missions and do things from every side, because there is kind of this overarching theme of like, we all do have to survive and share this space.
Sure.
But we all have kind of different ways of doing it. So in that way, it's a little bit like a Fallout New Vegas, but like with with no sense of humor, really.
No goofums.
and Niki, I might get yelled at because maybe I'm wrong. In the 2 hours I've played, I've not talked to a woman in this game.
It's a lot like Days Gone.
Which is like pretty funny. I think I saw one guarding the town I went into, but no one the game wants you to talk to in the first 2 hours is a woman.
So the time to kill is low, but the time to woman is high.
Time to woman is at least 2 hours.
Wow.
Time to kill low.
Mm-hmm.
Time for scary stuff low.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for some people, time to scary stuff is also time to woman. But for a lot of people who don't care about time to woman, the woman is also time to scary.
Time to scary,
so maybe it's high for those people.
So it's high. That's a variable time to woman. Then.
A variable time to woman. Yeah, but time to woman high in that game. And it's so noticeable that I was like, is there an in-universe explanation for this that I am ignorant to? And I might
Google it. Why no women in S.T.A.L.K.E.R?
Why no women?
Out of curiosity, why are there no women in S.T.A.L.K.E.R? This is from 3 years ago. Okay. Was it for budget reasons, or is there something in the lore I don't know about?
Reasons.
Was
this on Reddit?
Yeah, the first post is because girls go to college to get more knowledge. So I'm skipping on. And then the second one says, as far as I know, it was because they didn't have the time to properly implement them before launch. The same reason why the difficulty options just affect bullet damage and not much else. What does that mean? What are you talking about?
And bullet damage is the same kind of. They had to pick one. They go, all right, difficulty is bullet damage slower to get. We got to put women in the game. It is like, listen, if that, I don't know if it's one of those things that is going to like, yeah, please.
Originally issues with budget and especially development time, although the fans have a multitude of reasons from downright stupid to very likely ones. I'd say I'm about 85% sure we'll see women in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2.
So I will say GSC Game World is the Ukrainian developer that made this game, and they made the original. Obviously, they are dealing with fairly unprecedented challenges that have delayed this game a lot. But many years have gone by, so it would be very funny. Actually, a lot of the reviews were like, this game needed more time. I was like, they had a lot of it.
They had a lot of it.
They had a lot of it.
The thing about making a video game is that you can just make a woman.
You can just make a woman. That, like, very crucially,
you can just make a woman.
Tim Sweeney made it very easy for you to just pluck a woman out from his engine.
Yeah.
And just put it in the game. They've made that very easy.
So
all of the engines have asset stores.
Yeah, you can download a woman right now.
You can download a woman right now.
So
it is good. It's one of those things where, like, you know, I know the vibes of these games, and it is like this team, I don't know, their politics might be really fucking whack. I have no idea. And it's not something that I have given a ton of thought to. But when it is pretty noticeable that there just really aren't any women that have anything to do with the story, at least in the first 2 hours. It is an odd thing. It's strange. In the year of our Lord 2024.
I can't. I need to get off of this subreddit before I piss and shit myself to death.
But it's so to answer your question, you take missions from these folks. It is kind of an open world action shooter where you really have to be careful. You have to feed yourself every once in a while. You have to make sure, like, I got injured in a gunfight and didn't notice I was bleeding. I killed the last guy in the gunfight, and I'm like, yeah, I killed everyone in this gunfight. And this guy is approaching me, who's going to talk to me and thank me and give me stuff. And I just go, and I fall over and die because I was bleeding to death and didn't notice it. So it's stuff like that, which is pretty funny. So yeah, if you are into the Stalker stuff and are basically just curious, especially if you just have Game Pass, just grab it.
It's free.
It's free. And it's worth checking out. It's a sequel to one of those games where, this is a lot of people's favorite game, Stalker, and the follow-up to it is out, and it feels like a footnote, honestly, like on a very busy and huge year. It does feel like a footnote, and that's a little bit of a shame, but hopefully it'll get, I think it's going to do exactly kind of what Dragon's Dogma did. Is it's going to it's going to become a lot of sickos' favorite, and it's going to really push a lot of people that were casually into
right away
off of it. But I played that today and enjoyed myself for the most part. So
I've been watching Sean over at giantbomb.com play Days Gone. So I'm
you're kind of like dude and
6 hours into Days Gone. And it sucks. It sucks.
Well, you don't think that game is just terribly unappreciated and not,
dude? If I didn't already dislike the game, and listen, if you follow me on Blue Sky or watch me on giantbomb.com and you've come over here and you're like, oh, why are you being so mean? It's because I think your ideas are wrong in this specific scenario. All of the people who come into the mentions to saying, I don't understand why people don't like this game. Sure, it's one of the worst main characters we've ever encountered in a video game, and the writing is really bad, but all of the stuff around it is good. And it's like, you mean the middling third-person character action game that PlayStation's been making for 15 fucking years? Go play one of those where the guy doesn't suck. Or sucks different, maybe.
Sucks
like he sucks different.
Yeah, Joel sucks different, and
Joel does suck different, and
he sucks different.
Yeah, if you want to play Discount Last of Us, you're allowed to play Discount Last of Us, but Last of Us for real is right there. Also runs on your PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think it is one of the most vibes repulsive games I think I've ever been around. Every person in it sucks. And not even in a
fun way.
They seem like a bad person kind of way. From conception, from when they were storyboarding out the guys that you interact with in this game, that person had bad ideas, and those bad ideas permeate through every single person that's in the game. The guy who does the voice acting for Deacon St. John is either putting
I can't fucking believe that's the name of the character.
It's terrible.
I'm Deacon St. John. Hi, my creator watched way too much porno from 1989 and then was like, here we go. Here's Deacon St. John.
Here's Deacon St. John. He's either putting in an all-time performance for the worst guy you've ever met, or he's putting an all-time bad performance into the worst script you've ever read.
Yeah.
And there's no in between.
There's no other explanation.
And
for it.
In some situations, in some lines, it feels like he does both from the beginning of the sentence to the period in the sentence. And that part is kind of incredible because it sucks to listen to him talk, and he talks so fucking much. He talks constantly. There is a J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man style radio situation where there's a
bring me pictures of Zombie Man.
Kind of. There's a faction leader named Copeland. Not related to Edge. I did check. He's not related. And he goes
I love that we go with Edge first instead of Aaron Copeland.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. You mean is he related to Edge?
Let's say yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that guy, he's not related to Edge or Edge's brother. But he runs a camp and he has a radio station that, again, they really play. And usually this stuff doesn't annoy me, but there is something about them playing fast and loose with the use of walkie-talkies in this world. It's a post-apocalyptic world. If you don't somehow know about this video game,
explain
published in the late 2010s by Sony and Bend Studio, makers of Bubsy 3D and a Columbo game for the Apple Newton, which is what we found out today.
The Apple Newton.
Which, like, I didn't even know that thing had games on it.
Yeah,
apparently it had games.
It did. Yeah.
And it's a zombie survival game. You got a motorcycle, you go around the world, people give you stuff, you're trying to find your wife. That's the gist of the game. Copeland runs this radio station that seems as if you're tuning into it via your walkie-talkie.
Yeah, famously, like,
which is not how those
play radio.
That's not how those work. And also, very critical to a walkie-talkie is that you have to indicate to the machine that you want to send out and receive.
You have to hit a button.
You have to press a button, and there's channels to indicate who you're talking to.
Yep.
They treat that thing like a fucking open phone line. Anybody can call this dude on this walkie-talkie at any time.
There's just kind of a Call of Duty chat room that you can't mute, kind of
that you cannot mute. Copeland is talking about how the woke mind virus is the reason why there are zombies, not a joke. Like, literally, he's like, there's a big conspiracy happening as to why this is all going on. You got to follow the truth. He closes every single thing by being like, follow the truth or something like that. And it's like, it is too. In Spider-Man, it worked. Like, J. Jonah Jameson doing an Alex Jones works because it's goofy.
Yeah.
And also you're playing as Spider-Man, so it's not like
you're playing as Spider-Man.
You're playing as Spider-Man, so it doesn't. None of it. There's suspension of disbelief,
and the characters and voice performances are charming.
Correct. In this, it feels like you're just listening to that stuff, which is unpleasant. That's unpleasant. Like, I don't want to.
Feels
do
like you're
that.
taking it at face value.
Yes, and then you listen to the whole 45-second snippet of this radio show, right? And then for 45 seconds after it completes, Deacon has a monologue with himself where he replies directly to the things that the guy just said. Nobody can hear him.
Oh my
He's
God.
on the bike by himself, yelling about, like, oh, actually, Copeland, you're wrong. This isn't how. And then he, like, never really gets a thought out square. Like, he kind of just, like, bumbles his way through a thought, doesn't say anything, and then silently
kind of trails
sits
off
there and literally, yes, he trails off, and then something will happen and he'll start talking again. But he doesn't shut up. He talks all the fucking time. Everyone was like, Aloy talks all the time. Yes, she talks a lot. This dude talks way more.
Yeah, but she's not as detestable as Deacon St. James? St. John?
Deacon St. John.
Deacon St. John.
Yeah, or Deke, as they call him in the game.
Deke.
Yeah, they call him Deke.
Jesus Christ.
Though it's pretty, I will give it that.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Is it Pacific
when
Northwest?
It's not moving. Yes, it is. Okay. It takes place in Oregon. There's no black people in it.
Yeah, okay. Like, I was gonna say, like, the fact that it's in Oregon and, like, I don't know. It's like I can't stop right-wing people from having their media. I can't stop it.
Sure.
And I participate in a lot of it.
Yeah.
NFL football, professional wrestling. Like, I participated. I spent a lot of my Tuesday stream talking about how much fun I'm having in Call of Duty, which we can talk about in a second. I can't do anything about them making it. But what is weird is, like, okay, don't act like it's not. And I feel like a lot of people, like, I would almost have a lot more respect for that game. It's like, yeah, we made a really weird right-wing video game for Sony PlayStation. You got to wait. I'm like,
no, it doesn't do that.
Like, I'm not psyched about that, but like, I guess I would feel better if someone just said it. It's like, oh yeah, everyone's turned into zombies because of the woke virus, and this is set in rural Oregon. It's not a right-wing thing though. I'm like,
it's like, gang, are you sure?
It is, guys.
It seems like it is. Because the bad guys in the game are the scientists.
Right. Yeah.
So
when did this come out? 2019?
That seems right. Days Gone. Days Gone came out in 2019, April 16th.
Okay. All right.
Vaxxed? There's
Deacon St.
all of the characters in it suck.
Yeah.
In the first 2 minutes of the game, your wife gets stabbed by a kid in the fetal position. You can kill kids in this game. Sorry, I buried that lead there. There's kid zombies for no reason. There's just kid zombies. There's zombies that are children.
Huh. The guy that makes Terrifier, the movie series that is just like one of the goriest, grossest things. He's like, I'll never kill a kid on screen.
Yeah.
And it's really funny that because they're zombies, it's fine, I guess.
Deeply unclear. There's a line in the game where Deacon goes, I don't kill women unless I have to. It's against my code, is basically the line. But you say that after you encounter the first woman enemy that you have to kill to progress the game.
What does he say when he kills a kid?
Nothing.
He's like,
he doesn't say anything.
This wasn't even on my radar, but I guess I do kill kids. Anyway.
He doesn't say anything. In the beginning of the game, your wife gets shivved by a kid that's in the fetal position on the ground. And it's a kid zombie. And the reasoning as to like active conflict, people screaming, bullets going off, zombies everywhere. Your wife walks up to this fetal position child and like taps them on the shoulder, and then she gets stabbed. And then the reasoning why she did that is because she goes, the kid is wearing a black hoodie and jeans. And she goes, that kid looked just like my sister. She wore a hoodie and would wear it up over her head. And that's the whole reasoning as to why that's it. That's why she went over in the active conflict to do anything. You then, with your guy who has the most skull tattoos per capita in the whole world, who is your friend, you, after your wife gets stabbed, you go into like this warehouse, and there's this guy that's like up in an office, and he's like shooting down at you, and then you don't play this part. It's like a cutscene that you have to watch after you've already watched the same cutscene from the beginning of the game. This is like an hour and a half in. You watch the same cutscene again.
Oh, so they do. I hate it. Why did they do that?
I don't know. Why didn't they just put that at the beginning of the game?
Where they show you fucking something, and it's like, okay, now it's time to start the game, and then like 2 hours in, it's like, what the fuck? I just saw this.
Yeah, here's the rest of the story.
23 years ago, Final Fantasy X did that. I thought it was really dumb. Anyway,
you go up to talk to this guy. And then the guy's like, you killed my wife. And then Deacon's like, no, dude, I didn't kill your wife. Are you like, stop.
No,
and then you kill this guy for no reason.
Okay.
Like, you just kill him for no reason. You've de-escalated the fight. You get the gun out of his hand, and then you shoot him to die for no reason. Anyway, the game seems boring to play also. Yeah. It just doesn't seem like it's a fun time. The bicycle mechanic, the motorbike mechanic doesn't make any sense. The bike runs out of gas really fast, and you're constantly having to refuel because unless you upgrade your gas tank, that's not how bikes work. And also, and this is maybe the most infuriating thing.
I wish I could kill a bunch of people and then go into a Toyota dealership and be like, get this baby going.
Yeah, give me the 55 gallon. And this is maybe the most annoying thing. Game made in America.
Right.
Set in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
The default and only unit of measurement is meters and kilometers. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing.
What are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing.
And I understand you may be listening at home and say, what does it fucking matter? And it doesn't. Like, truly, deeply, it does not matter. But the thing that gets me is that it's like, that would be like icing a cake and then leaving the center of the top of the cake uniced. Like icing just the sides of the cake and then leaving the top of it naked.
I mean, I think it matters from an immersion standpoint. I mean, I felt that way about Cyberpunk. It's a game that is set in California.
Yes.
That is very, very clearly not written by Americans.
Yes.
Like nothing about the politics of the United States that is ever discussed in that game seems like a familiar lived experience to me.
No,
it is all really surface level stuff that these people saw.
It's got GTA disease.
It's got GTA disease, and also, but to their credit, they eventually said they needed to rewrite some of that stuff, and they were right. Like they're right. They need to do that because it's like a lot of the radio broadcasts and stuff that you would hear. It's just like this isn't.
This is nothing.
I want to feel like it is a foreign place because it should be so different from what I experienced. That is part of it. But there is a familiarity of kind of how Americans talk about their own culture and their own experiences. I'm like, you've lost this part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you've lost it because you needed
to nail that.
Yeah, and
it's not really their fault. They probably didn't know. There's a little bit of an arrogance there because I probably wouldn't sit here and be like, I could write a great game about Polish culture. Like,
sure, but also you wouldn't decide to do that.
Decide to do that.
You know, so like that's the other thing. Right. Like the and this is the last thing I'll say about it. And of course, I have not finished the game. Also, I deeply need to make it very clear. I'm not playing it.
Yeah, you're just
watching it.
Yeah.
But the thing that frustrates me the most is that it is impossible to look at the beats of the game, which is set in Oregon, the white supremacy state. Just that's the one that one is.
If y'all don't know that, it is like. And you can see it on the voting map. It's kind of the same for every coastal West Coast.
Yeah.
But it's like the coast is just blue, 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 and then everything inside is just like whoa. And Oregon in particular is full of like racism, but also very specifically those kind of separatist-minded. You know, we're going to create our own government kind of dudes. Anyway,
so it is that culture plus biker culture plus like there's this weird cult of white skinheads that have carved symbols into their skin all over, and the entirety of the cult has this. And then there's no people of color in the game, and it just none of it is acknowledged or seen. So like to the point that you were making earlier, it's like they made a game that is like checks all of these right-wing ideology boxes.
Yeah, it's a power fantasy for right-wing people.
Yes, that sucks.
No, it
sucks.
Horrible. Right.
The tone is bad. Like the tone is just bad. So then when the reason I was goofing earlier, but the reason why I actually I do feel annoyed and pissed when people are like, oh, but the game part is good. No, gang. The game part is dull and boring. And if you separate the part where the video game is boring, the ideology that the game is asking you to just accept at face value is so rancid that even if the game was good, it would be impossible to acknowledge that the game was good because the people that you have to listen to talk in between playing the game are gross and disgusting.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks so bad.
I mean,
yeah.
It's funny, kind of speaking of like being a passenger on a ride where like you just don't like anyone on it. So why are you on it? The most unlikely and unnecessary follow-up to a game ever is being developed. An expansion to Y2K, a postmodern RPG.
Oh, you hated that game. You reviewed that at Fanbyte, right?
I reviewed it at Fanbyte. It remained our most read review until the site's demise. Mostly because I hated this game.
Yeah.
And to your point, the mechanics were not very good, and they were certainly not good enough to save it from some bad writing. But the problem was the main character, Alex, is like, I said this last night at Blue Sky, like there are sorcerers and necromancers and murderers and villains from video games that I would meet at a bar before I would meet this guy at a bar.
Yeah. No, like, for sure.
Deeply unpleasant and uninteresting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's, I don't think it's necessarily a bunch of like right-wing dog whistle shit the way I think Days Gone is, but it's like they wrote a guy that they want you to watch go through a transition. Now that transition is not that dramatic, but they're also like, we want you to spend like 15, 20 hours with this guy and he sucks. And like everyone kind of knows he sucks.
No, I don't want to do that. No.
I'm good.
Yeah, what if I didn't do? What if I did not do that instead?
I don't want to do that. Like, he's someone who's just like deeply in love with his own idea of the things that he consumes, and he wants to kind of be part of those worlds where he creates something, but he's actually like not aware enough to know that no one actually wants to work with him to like do any of this stuff. And he's just a deeply unpleasant, shitty person. And the game's like, you want to hang out with him, right? See where that story goes? I'm like,
that's the weird part. And again, really early, but I mean, like, I don't know. I think I do this a lot, but I think I would do it less if I was wrong more. But I feel like I am pretty good at getting whether or not a game is going to come around on whether, like, on the stuff that it's trying to introduce or not.
Yeah.
This game, no one in it from a narrative perspective was born prior to when the game starts. Prior to when you press X, they didn't exist. Mm-hmm. And they will stop existing when the credits roll.
Right.
And that sucks. Like, when you are asked to then spend 35 hours, because that's how long this game is, when you're asked to spend 35 hours with people who only exist for 35 hours,
right?
Why would I want to do that? They don't have lives beforehand. And when they try to like give you breadcrumbs on what those lives are, because they have not actually thought about what that looks like, it feels hollow. You try to get like a bit of character, like a bit of character development, and you're like, who gives a shit? I don't care. I don't care that they had this like your wife and Deacon had this meet cute where her car was broken down, and then you're shitty and mean to her. You like threaten to leave her abandoned by the side of the road as a goof when she's like very clearly asking you for help, and you like make her say, yes, I need help. And it's like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to be around this guy. And then like you almost get killed in a head-on car crash, and then you have to go back and you get beat up by these white supremacist looking guys. And then like everyone like has a grand old time with it. And then she shoots a gun in the air and is like, oh man, I didn't even think I was going to do that. I just found this gun in your bag. And it's like, I don't like none of it. It just is dull. Anyway, that's my Days Gone minute. I don't think that anybody should play this game.
Days Gone
it sucks.
Days Gone feels like the action game for people who watch Yellowstone.
Yeah, I guess. But at least on Yellowstone, I think the characters seem
pretty fleshed out, I guess.
Pretty fleshed out. I've never seen it. But I think there's like because it is not set.
It's better than Days Gone.
Yes, and I think because it is not set in present day, this game is set in like the 2010s. Like it's not like they're out in the like in Eastern Oregon, right? Like they're not in Portland. Like they're out, but it's modern. There's phones and radios and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Yellowstone doesn't have that, right? So does it? When is Yellowstone?
It's like
what? I thought it was old. Really? This whole time it's present day? I thought they found the park. What is Yellowstone about? I thought Yellowstone was about them finding the place.
No,
wait, really?
No.
I thought it was about them finding the place.
There's a prequel series. I can't remember the name of it. I'm looking at it now. It's called 1883, which is like, it's basically like selling the land that would eventually become Yellowstone Ranch. But no, this is it's not.
I thought it was the past.
It's a modern day show. No. It's
all right. Well, I take everything I said back.
You should watch like 3 episodes of Yellowstone because it's just it's odd. It's just like it's odd. I don't know. It's a well-liked show, but I always kind of feel like it's got a sense of politics that I'm not like that into. It just kind of reminds me of how people talk about Days Gone. Speaking of that,
I'm looking at cows now.
Cows, like cool cows.
That's like a Holstein. Is that an important cow?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you about important cows. You and I have played some Call of Duty, quite a bit of it.
Yeah, dude, that game's good.
Some together, some not. Yeah, I think I'm level 38 now, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I got like some full auto gun that I'm very good with.
That's good,
which is fun. The game is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
The multiplayer of that game is really good.
It's a good one of these.
Can you explain why, as someone who has worked on Call of Duty before?
So this one has there's not a lot of bullshit on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
The only system that there is that is weird is the fact that you can run backwards. And fundamentally, that's not actually a weird system. It just kind of does the thing that you want it to do, which is when you decide to run backwards, you run backwards.
It works.
It just does the thing.
And this is my experience. I'm so not used to it, I forget it's there.
Exactly. So when you are engaging with that core mechanic, you are forgetting that is actually a mechanic, which sounds like it might not be good, but in a game where the moment to moment is so quick, you don't want to have to spin your brain up to engage with the mechanics. Yeah. You just want to engage with the mechanics. Mm-hmm. They should fall to the background.
Yeah.
So this one, you don't have to, no one is going to come at you from the sky. No one is going to come at you with a weird gun that is going to like electrocute you or like kill you in some kind of way that you can't expect. No one is going to come at you on a wall. You have to like the places that you are expecting to find guys is where the guys are. Sometimes the guys are Max painting in front of you.
Yes.
And that's delightful.
Delightful, yeah.
Sometimes the guys are like vertical 1 second and then completely prone the next and like spinning around, and like that's fun. But it is never, you can engage with the game without ever becoming particularly good at those systems. Yeah. If you understand that you have your gun, the goal is to shoot other people on team, you can do all of the things that you want to do in the Call of Duty game. Yeah. There's no like kill, like we were talking about this the other night. Like I didn't even know that the game had score streaks in it still, because the game does not, it's not really invested.
It doesn't really make it. It does not go score streak activated and then it shows it in the middle of the screen like it did ages ago. Yeah.
And also the flow of their use is not like, and I'm sure there are people who would complain about this. The way that they are used does not swing matches like it used to. You used to, like, someone would get an AC-130 in Modern Warfare 2 and you would be like, okay, well, I guess we're going to jack off for the next 3 minutes because we're just going to lose this one because that person's going to get 25 kills and the swing is going to be insane.
Yep.
But like, I could probably count on my hand the number of times I've been killed by a score streak in this game. I was telling John, I didn't even know that they were displaying on the screen. Like I thought they were behind a physical object in my room. And then John was like, yeah, they might be there. And then I moved the object and they weren't actually there. They were just in a different part of the screen I hadn't looked at yet. And I'd been playing the game for 15 or 20 hours. Yeah, it's pure and clean in a way that I don't think one of these has been since Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 3. No, Black Ops 2. Black Ops 3 was the one that had a bunch of bullshit in it. Since like Black Ops 2.
Remember when they did Black Ops 4 and they did 4 Roman numeral wrong?
I do remember that, yeah. What a fun little bit they did. And I don't know, I think there is definitely a aspect of it that is like, oh, everybody is playing it. It is like kind of the game du jour in a way that it has not been the last handful of releases. Yeah. Every time I turn the game on, somebody I know is playing it, which is, I have not felt that way since I was in middle school. Yeah. Like with a Call of Duty game. And that, like, there is nostalgia inbuilt with that experience. So
for sure,
I think that's it. It also, like, I mean, I don't know. What was the last one of these that you played for real?
Probably it was Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Probably it was Black Ops.
And I think for a lot of people,
I played Black Ops 4 in Warzone a bit, but not like this.
Yeah. And I think I'm so curious to see, and they'd never released these numbers, but like because the game sells too many copies for this to work. But like a poll of like what was the last one of these you actually think you played would be helpful, I think, for people to understand the breadth of this conversation, because I feel like people are talking about Call of Duty in a way that people have not talked about Call of Duty in the last few years. But also I'm sure this has sold very well, but probably not much more than the last one sold.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this like was on par, if not just a little bit past where they normally
Modern Warfare
are.
3 was. Yeah. Like,
but I definitely agree in our little circles, which is not always
representative,
not always representative.
Yeah.
But in our circles, certainly people are like, hey, have you checked this out? It's actually pretty good this year. And yeah, people are playing it. I mean, and it's fun. I mean, I was talking about like how I was talking to Stream the other day about how this is also one of those things that's just like from toe to tip. Like, if you're used to something like Destiny or Halo or whatever, there are militaristic emblems and elements that would be familiar to you if you are like, it's like, okay, I understand military history and blah, blah, blah. Like, I understand that. Like, Call of Duty is the one that's like, I watch Fox News 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, it is the Ford F-150 ad on a Sunday afternoon of video games from toe to tip.
Yes.
So there is like aspects of that I just fucking skip over. I was telling you, I've been killed by X Hamster. There's a group called Trump, like a large group, just with the little hashtags in front or the parentheses, clan tag. You'll just see stuff that's just like, okay. The other day I forgot to mute everyone, and some guy just was listening to a Texas-based radio call-in show about the Dallas Cowboys as loud as possible.
That's great. Good for him. Good for him. Didn't even know his mic was on.
In between, he 100% knew his mic was on.
Oh, he knew his mic was on? Oh, even better.
But But then like you'll have moments where like I played around and I forgot to mute everyone. And there was just this guy that had gotten faded and was just doing commentary on the match.
Hell yeah.
It was just like, all right, guys, we got to get this thing going. Oh, I got one.
Hell yeah.
Got one. I mean, it was like the first like minute of it, I'm like, oh boy. And then by the end of it, I was like, who was that? Who
was that? Yeah,
get on here. Let's just go ahead and commentate every match.
It's good. Like, it feels to me, and I think the thing, like, it is deeply a nostalgia play right now for me.
Yes.
Like, it just feels, I have not played a Call of Duty like this since Modern Warfare 2, where I get on and I understand why adults were popping off when these games came out.
Oh,
because
100%.
now I am the same age as they were when this when Modern Warfare 2 came out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I understand. Sometimes you do want to just turn your brain off.
I played so much Modern Warfare 2 with my friends. And my friend Ben's probably not listening. But my friend Ben is the one who prestiged so many times in Modern Warfare 2. This is like a true story. He prestiged so many times in Modern Warfare 2. He looked at me one day and he goes, I see how my brain operates with these things, and I will actually probably never play a video game again. And
wow. And he got clean.
And he got out.
That's crazy.
And it's nuts because I've like the past week I've been like, I should text that guy. And just
get him
like,
back in.
And just be like,
bet they did it again.
You know what? They made this drug a little bit sweeter. you might be missing it in your life. You know? Listen, your wife's the litigator. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
You can just take a break.
You can rot for a little bit.
Yeah. I did think about it. I did. I was like, man, I should fucking text Ben. I might do that after this. Be like,
you should.
I was like,
hey, Ben, remember Call of Duty? They still make those. Call of Duty's
fucking good, dude. I'll be at his funeral. I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't think it'd be that bad.
I didn't think you would try to eat the Xbox.
I didn't know. But it's a good one of those. So
it's a good one of those. Apparently the campaign is good too. I just like that.
I have no interest.
Like a little bit of a step too far for me.
It's too far for me. I've never really had an inkling to
and like I don't want to. I don't want to
either.
I don't want to. Like you can tell me it's good and I'll be like, okay. Like I would quicker go play the Titanfall 2 story mode.
Genuinely, honest to God, it's like you invited me to go see SmackDown, and I'm like, fuck yeah, SmackDown. And you tap me on the shoulder, and you're like, do you want to come backstage and meet Vince McMahon? No, I really don't. I really don't.
Actually, yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I think for some people, meeting Vince McMahon would be like, wow. And I'm like,
I don't need to. I don't need to see this part. Yeah, I'm great here. Because when I turn the Xbox off, I don't think about it anymore.
I don't think about it. I don't need to go through some campaign and be like, and have any sort of familiarity with the faces that I see in the multiplayer. Like, because that's what's going to happen. Is that's like, oh, the guy I picked because I thought he looked cool. He's like, yeah, he thinks torture's okay. You know, like, and I'm just like, I don't need to know. I'm good. Ignorance is bliss on this one, buddy. The
one thing I will say is that the monetization of this game doesn't make any fucking sense to me. We were on the other night and you were looking at the battle pass. You said
Niki, I still genuinely don't know what the game is telling me about the battle pass after every match. I get like the stuff I'm unlocking for my weapons and my classes and all that stuff. I honest to God don't understand what the game is telling me.
And I don't. The thing that's nuts is that there are only two games for which the battle pass should work: Fortnite and Call of Duty. It should not be a hard sell for the Call of Duty battle pass. That should not be a hard sell on a game that I did not pay for. I should feel obligated to get the battle pass.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why I would get the battle pass because I don't understand what I would get.
It
doesn't make any sense to me.
The only thing I know I got from the battle pass. This is crazy. I think I have passed through like multiple layers and tiers of the battle pass. The only thing I know I got from the battle pass was like a keychain with a panther on it.
Yes.
That's it. That's the only thing I'm like, I'm 100% sure that's where I got that.
And so that part doesn't make any sense. And also, and I guess this has been the case for a while, but none of the stuff that you buy in the previous year's game carries over. Yep. So if you bought,
and can you explain why that's especially weird based on how the Call of Duty is structured now?
Yeah. So when
you had said that the other night, and I was like, yeah, that is weird. And then I thought about it an extra 10 minutes, and I was like, yeah, actually, that is really weird.
It doesn't make any sense. So when you go to get Call of Duty, you go download an EXE called Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
From within that EXE, that's it. Yeah. From within that, that has the store, and within it has a launcher for the other Call of Duty EXEs and Warzone.
Yes.
When you buy a skin, for example, the year is 2024, which is the current year, you have purchased Cody Rhodes as your skin in the video game Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. And you are having a great time doing the crossroads as your finisher. When you melee somebody, Rey Mysterio comes out from nowhere and he's got a chair, and Michael Cole says he's got a chair, and then he hits somebody. And then Rhea Ripley is there and she pops her shoulder back in on a man's face. And then you say, wow, that's how delightful. None of that stuff's in this one because it's only in Modern Warfare 3. Why? It doesn't make any sense. It does. None of it transfers over. None of it does. And the thing that I was talking to you about, and I was like, what is the appeal if you are a brand of putting your guys in the biggest video game there is if the following year the guys aren't in it anymore? And everyone forgets that the guys were in it. And like, yes, you did make money on the front end, but the thing about the Fortnite store is that because the skins have been working and in the game for so long, they keep putting them in the store. There's continued opportunities to make money off of the thing that they made one time.
Right.
People are constantly clamoring for the John Wick skin, which hasn't been in the game for X number of
ages.
Days.
Right.
They're saying, when can I buy Cruella de Vil again? I missed her. I'm going to keep playing and keep paying attention to this game so I know when my favorite character is back in the store. That's easy and pre-established as a methodology of putting DLC into your game. So then to miss the boat as badly as Activision has missed it seems like I don't understand why this stuff isn't. They're not losing money. Or they actually are. They don't lose money by keeping them in the game. They lose money by selling them only one time and having them not carry forward.
Do you think that it has anything to do with development structure, or do you think there's probably a publishing team that is in charge of doing the deals that bring that stuff to those games? Like, I'm so curious if it has to do with like fucking Sledgehammer went out and did their own deals, and Treyarch and whatever else can't. Like, I
think at this point, they all have their hands on the ball,
and that's what it feels like to me too. And
like
it does feel cohesive in a way. It's like it used to feel like, oh, it's been handed off. They're now the stewards of it, and now it's like it's all kind of a big muck.
Yeah. Like
they have their own responsibilities, but it is a big muck, kind of like the launcher that is big muck. Like it is kind of all in one tent now.
Yeah. I just don't understand. And even in the past, when they would go back and forth, it would go back and forth between an Infinity Ward and a Treyarch, there was a chance that the engine would be different. Right? Like because of the cycle, there was a chance that the engine from game to game would be so fundamentally different that the idea of having, it's the same engine.
Yep. Yeah.
Like they are iterating on the same engine.
Yep.
This is the same engine that Modern Warfare 3 is built in. They made some tweaks and some changes for sure, but like the character model part of the game is the same.
It's the same.
That part's the same. Like you can just swap the lads out.
Yeah.
So that really doesn't make any sense to me. The fact that like you look at the Call of Duty store and it's A, the most garish thing in the world, and B, you can't particularly tell what it is or why you would buy anything from it.
Right.
Is baffling to me.
Yeah, totally.
But I don't know. I love not spending money on video game.
And
that's what they've allowed me to do.
It's really, really good. Let's answer some hype questions. Lucky Hyena's got the first one this week, and we'll just go straight on theme. If Call of Duty is good now, how good will the 2025 release be?
Bad.
I also agree. It's going to be Call of Duty.
I think they're just going to call it Modern Warfare 4, John. And I think they're only going to do 2 now for a little bit. It's going to be Modern Warfare 4, and then they're going to switch, and it's going to be Black Ops 6 or 7 or whatever. And then
you don't think they'll take any sort of risks and do Infinite Warfare 2?
No, because Microsoft is like so fucking hungry for a hit. They just want one video game to do good.
I know.
Like it's going to be Modern Warfare 4. And they're gonna do the same fucking thing again. It's gonna be 4 eyes.
Yeah. Bone Chug Actual. There are a lot of Call of Duty and shooter questions on this one. Okay. They must have sensed it. In your opinion, what would a new major shooter, reality-based, modern setting, military, or similar, what would they have to do to differentiate itself and also survive in this ecosystem with COD being what it is?
At the scale of Call of Duty, I really want. Have you played Echo Point Nova?
No.
Echo Point Nova it's kind of like Tribes meets Titanfall, like movement meets like these big elevated floating islands, kind of like spaces that you're traversing through. I haven't played it either. I just have heard a lot about it. And that seems like it's doing some fun and interesting stuff with the genre, but I don't know if this space has space for more than the 2 shooters we have, which are Fortnite and Call of Duty. We have the first person one and we have the third person one. And then every single one of the other ones is going to be smaller than those.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would probably. I'm watching the trailer for Echo Point Nova, which is sick.
It seems cool. Like, we played it on giantbomb.com. And by we, I mean people that weren't me played it on giantbomb.com a couple of weeks ago.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, I kind of think I don't think just by your premise that it's like it's got to be modern setting, military, reality based.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really anything most people could do. It just like I could say something like you could basically take the American military industrial complex shit out of it and it might be interesting. And like maybe you could do that. Like maybe a team could do that and it would be interesting. But I don't think it would pull the bulk of the of the user base away.
And it's also very clear that there is not even space anymore for Battlefield. Right?
No.
Which is
don't think
nuts,
so either.
Because they are fundamental, and I'm sure if you look at it from the outside and or with some distance, you're like, I don't really understand how these things are different. But like Battlefield really is like big maps, a lot of people, like the scale is different. And that's why it feels different. But people are getting that sense of scale out of Warzone and Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think an Abyssal Dition basically is asking about Battlefield. Is it the right move? They're apparently undergoing the biggest playtest in franchise history, and we know that it's probably going to launch bad. And I agree with all those premises.
Yeah. Sorry, did I say Battlefront or Battlefield? No one's quite sure which one I said.
You said Battlefield. Did you say Battlefront?
That's huge. I don't remember.
I thought you said Battlefield.
They should make another Battlefront, though.
So I have 3 thoughts. One, well, no, really, it's just 2 thoughts. One, they should make Battlefront, and they should make that feel very Star Wars-y and epic and all that stuff, and that should be really the Battlefield folks. They gotta just. I'm not a big consolidation fan, but for Battlefield, which feels very DOA right now, Respawn should gobble them up, and they should make a Titanfall 3 that is
interesting. So you're kind of pitching.
Massive. They should use the infrastructure that the Battlefield folks have made to have large scale battles and a lot of verticality and all that stuff. And they should introduce Titanfall kind of into that ecosystem.
So you're kind
the guns
of
feel
pitching...
great. The guns feel great, all that stuff. So from that regard, it's quote unquote reality based in the sense that like it does feel grounded in a sense of physics and all that stuff. But I think that's how you do it. You make Titanfall 3.
A third.
It's a cop-out answer, but it's like, I think it's true. I think that's like the only.
I think my only pushback on that though is that like the reason that Titanfall and by extension Apex Legends feels good is because it is not in Frostbite. And then I think because it's in Source, we put a big fork into the outlet that is Source Engine, and we fucked that thing like crazy. We really fucked this thing up. And now this is what we have. But I don't know if you can build anything that is going to feel as fluid as Titanfall on the scale of like in that engine. I don't know if it will, the bones are strong enough to do that. And then if you move it over to Frostbite, then it's going to feel like shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's fair.
They should just make a Star Wars Battlefront 3. And you know what? Put the loot boxes in it. Good. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? Put the loot boxes back.
If you're not watching your kids close enough, that's on you.
That's on you. Put the loot boxes back in it. You. It was fine. It was fine. Whatever. If you care, if you give a shit about unlocking stuff in a Star Wars game, fuck off. Who cares?
Yeah. It's fair. How many gold guns do you have in Blob 6?
None.
Do you have any? Yeah.
Zero.
Either. Yep.
I made one class. I'm never touching it again. I did go from I will never make a class to I should probably make a class. But now that I have the class, there's no reason for me to go. I'm never opening the gunsmith ever again. For what?
You're not going to attach all that stuff to it?
I did. I attached some stuff already.
But you're not unlocking new stuff? That's better?
Yeah, probably.
Well, you should go in there. I go
What's
in
it
there
gonna
literally
do?
after every match.
For what? What's it gonna do?
I switch out a barrel for a different barrel.
What does it do? And it changes your gameplay how, John?
Makes my gun 5% more effective.
Okay, yeah, you definitely can feel it.
I totally feel it. I totally feel it. I'm convinced that this game does absolutely nothing with those.
Nothing. It doesn't matter. They know what they have the gun, and they say this is what the gun does, and that's it. I think that your brain is sick if you were looking at the little bars as they move back and forth, and you're like, oh, that's a tangible difference. You're wrong. There is no tangible difference. You're gonna die in 3 hits regardless. Like it doesn't make a fucking difference. You either shoot the person first or they shoot you first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super true. Yeah, the time to death in this game very short.
It's so low. It's so low. But it doesn't matter because you respawn instantly.
Yeah,
and then it's
really
like
fun. Yeah.
It's fun. You're just running around.
When was the last time you actually watched a kill cam?
There are kill cams in this one?
Yeah.
I don't watch those.
I know.
I'm pressing A, John.
Skip right fucking past him. It's really, really funny. Okay. What's the best one-off stand-up of a radio DJ that isn't your own? So this is from Spinks, who really loved our Weasel and the Nugs last week. Best one-off stand-up of radio DJ. I actually thought about this earlier and had 2 answers, and now I should have written them down. Man.
I don't quite understand what the words in this sentence mean.
So if someone in a show appeared maybe as a DJ, or like, I mean, I think my answer is probably Frasier, of like a lot of the weird ancillary shows that would appear like once per season of just like,
I see.
Like they had a really bad drive time duo that basically got Frasier to sing like a little girl in the bathtub.
That's fun.
You know, it's just like, Like that was a good send up of that because it's very accurate in my experience with Drive Time Radio.
Watched any more Frasier?
The new one?
The new Frasier?
I have not watched a nanosecond of the second season.
Did it get renewed?
I think it got renewed for a third season, I think.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
He hasn't found any success.
I know. Yeah, playing the same guy since 1980. Oh,
a new episode came out last week. Oh, a new episode comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, but I think season 2 is still going. They went back to Seattle.
What?
What?
Why would they release the Christmas episode on November 14th?
Because I don't think it's Frasier season 2. I hate that it's also called Frasier.
Well, because it's but it's not a continuation. Oh, I see. That's silly. So it's not Frasier season 9 or whatever the fuck.
No.
Or season 13.
No, they did this with Will and they did this with Will and Grace too. It's not like I guess the Christmas episode. Yeah. No, so they end with the Christmas episode every year.
Oh, and they just moved it up. Really? Is Niles in it?
Nope.
Too good? That's an easy check, Mr. Hyde-Pierce.
I don't know enough. I have a feeling that David Hyde-Pierce is not like. I think he probably thinks he's kind of above it. Would be my guess.
That's stupid. What an idiot.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. Maybe. I'm taking that check. Are you kidding me?
I'd get that.
Are you kidding me?
I'd take that check.
To be on a CBS show.
Perry Gilpin took that check. I don't blame her. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's an easy check.
Yeah.
You don't even have to. You're not acting when you're on a CBS show. You're repeating lines.
No, you're doing nothing. They have it so much easier now that they're on CBS instead of NBC. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Other than roguelikes, what's the best short session single player game?
Pokemon TCG Pocket. Every time I play that game, it's for literally 90 seconds. And it's the cleanest and best 90 seconds of my day.
Sure.
It's blissful. It's so pure.
Other than roguelikes.
Call of Duty, I guess.
Single player.
I'm the only person playing it.
It's just you in a dark room by yourself.
All multiplayer games are single player games if you're the only person sitting in front of the TV.
I mean, short session, it kind of depends on how short. I mean, like I can fire up an old AKI engine wrestling game, and that's really fun.
Yeah.
So virtual pro wrestling too. That's what I would say.
Single player games are hard because it requires time to spin stuff up and have it not be a roguelike, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I want to congratulate us on not talking about the Game Awards at all in this episode.
Who gives
And now that's changing because Dan Berlin has asked, what are some things Jeff could do to improve his big award show aside from the obvious, making it way less about new game reveals? I think genuinely. Wait, what did you say?
I said move it. It needs to be not in December.
Move it for sure. Also, I said this a couple days ago on stream when I was looking at the nominations. The award for best game and best game direction are all the same nominees.
Mm-hmm. It is just so they can give 2 awards out.
Sure. I don't subscribe to auteur theory. I really don't.
But you know who does?
But individual people do matter on teams.
Yeah.
Especially if they are making a lot of top-down decisions, like in the art department, the music department, whatever. I think it would be okay to recognize some of these people directly instead of saying Activision. Like,
no,
I want to know.
Sure.
I want to know exactly
who is the
game director of these games. Like, I would like to know that. I think it. Some would say it would backslide us into not recognizing a bunch of other people, but it's like right now we're basically nowhere on that. We're basically at You're either Hideo Kojima or Miyazaki, or you're fucking nobody.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would probably make it a little more about the people who actually make stuff. Anyway.
I would move it to February, probably.
February's fun. Is that way you get a full year? It's a little bit like the Oscars. Like, it's a little bit out
in that same window. There is Dragon Age didn't really get nominated for anything. And like, I haven't played that game. So who knows?
It got nominated for accessibility. And I think maybe best RPG, or maybe it got.
I don't think it did get nominated.
I think you're right. RPG. I think it was just basically accessibility.
But the reason is, and content aside, again, I have not played the video game, but it's like the ballots for this go out before the video game came out.
Correct.
Yep. So,
no one
played it, which is why nobody voted for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you put the game in. Or if you put the Game Awards in February and have it be January to December as the cycle, then people get to play the video games. People have an extra month to catch up. So you get January to catch up.
Yes. And actually vote beginning of February, and then
and then the award shows at the end of the month.
Yeah,
and
I like that idea.
That seems like a good compromise. I don't know. We don't need this.
We don't
anymore.
No, we don't.
We don't need I would appreciate it more if it didn't have the artifice of being an award show, because it is trying to, and we've talked about this a million times, a million places, but it is a show that is trying to have its cake, the cake being millions of dollars at the expense of these multi-billion-dollar corporations, and then also eat it too by saying that we are celebrating this industry when it does the first thing really well and then does not do the second thing because that's not the priority.
Right.
It's an excuse to get everybody in the same room.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's it. That's all I got on it. Who cares?
I know.
Who do you think's going to win trending gamer, John? Best streamer.
Couldn't fucking
best
tell you.
esports team?
Couldn't tell you.
Like, that's like, who, it doesn't like.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter.
And I think it sucks. And I don't know. It sucks because I do think there should be multiple avenues for these teams to be celebrated.
Yeah.
But it seems like if you're actually trying to close your eyes and think about where that celebration from your actual peers is coming from, then you're paying attention to the BAFTAs.
Yes.
Or you're paying attention to much, much smaller shows, which don't have the reach or prestige of saying we won an award up against a AAA, like it just doesn't, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So,
one final question could not be worse. Boy, I'm going to be reaching on this one. What matches are you most looking forward to at Full Gear? So this is AEW Full Gear.
Oh boy, they still do that? AEW still on, huh?
AEW still on. I've lapsed a little bit, but I've caught enough of it, and I'm going to look at this card. Let's run down the whole card real quick.
Wait, Tony Storm is retiring from pro wrestling and AEW effective immediately. That's gotta be real and not like a work.
Oh. John,
she's work. It's a work. John, it's a work. No, John, you're getting worked right now. Look in the mirror. Look at your own face on the screen. You're getting worked. You are getting worked.
With this kind of statement, Storm apologized to her fans for the quote being such a failure, adding that they won't be seeing her in AEW, New Japan, CMLL, or anywhere else in wrestling. Quote, okay, I'm not used to being a loser, Storm said. I've failed at everything. I lost in AEW. I lost in Japan. I lost in Mexico. This is the last you'll hear from me again. Enjoy Mariah May as your champion. You can all enjoy that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Not a work.
This is so fucking stupid. Why are multiple outlets that are? This is on SB Nation.
Yeah, which is crazy. Look, I mean, good for Tony, I guess.
Oh my god, this is so fucking silly. That's crazy. All right.
Okay, wait. AEW Full Gear.
Wait. All right, don't look at the card yet. Don't look at the card yet. What is the match that is opening the entire event on the pre-show?
I know this one, actually.
Oh, you do know this one? Okay.
I do know this one. It is QT Marshall versus the dad from the Costco guys.
The Big Boom AJ, the double chocolate chunk cookie, that guy. He's going to win, which fucking stinks.
Can you imagine?
And the Rizzler will be there.
I hope the Rizzler gets fucking F5'd into the fucking moon. I hope the Rizzler walks into the ring and then Bryan Danielson's music hits and everyone's like, I watched that man die in Washington. I thought he died. And then Taz is sick. Excalibur comes out and Excalibur's like, what is he gonna do? And then he's gonna yell Busaiku knee, and then he's gonna do a Busaiku knee on fucking the Rizzler, and the Rizzler's head's gonna come off, and then and then Sting's gonna come back with the baseball bat. Shivani's gonna yell, "It's Sting!" And then as Brian's doing the Busaiku knee, kneeing this child's head towards up the ramp, Sting is at the top of the ramp with the baseball bat. Home run. Bye. Out of the building.
Shohei Ohtani's it out.
God.
All right, you can look at the rest of the rest of the card is as follows. MJF versus Roderick Strong. I'm not a big MJF fan.
Why are they fighting again? Is that still the same beef from before Adam got injured? Beef from
before, yeah.
Okay.
Jay White versus Hangman Page.
That might bang.
Actually is probably a good match. I'm excited about that one. 4-way tag for AEW World Tag Team Championship. That's Private Party, the Champs, Outrunners, Kings of the Black Throne, the Acclaimed. Private Party probably retains
who's
that.
The Outrunners?
You don't know Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd? The Outrunners? just Google Outrunners AEW and then look at the images of these men, these
Truth
specimens.
Magnum?
Yeah, Truth Magnum and
wait, did these guys rule?
Yeah, these guys fucking rule. Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, the Outrunners fucking rule.
Okay, so they seem cool.
Yeah,
okay.
they seem pretty cool.
They look old.
I think they are old, and I think they're yeah. I forgot about this. The Outrunners, their little nickname is the youngest men alive, which is very funny. It rules.
That's really
so
good.
Much.
Okay, so really maybe good. I might be back in. That's good.
So Outrunners are great. Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander. Mercedes Moné is accompanied by a lady named Camille now. Camille went on social media to basically talk about how abortion's murder, and so everyone hates her now.
Awesome. Great.
So I hope Chris Statlander.
Wait, Private Party is the tag team champions?
Yes, they beat.
When did that happen?
They beat the Young Bucks like 3 weeks ago on Dynamite.
Oh, good for them.
Fun. Yeah.
Do you think now that happened because Triple H said the thing he said about black people, right? And then Tony said, "Watch this. I'm going to put the black people over," right?
I mean, they've been working up to this for a while. I will say that.
That's good.
I will say that. I mean, I do think AEW is better with that stuff than WWE. I mean, the bar is in the fucking toilet, obviously. Yeah. But Bobby Lashley is back in AEW. Did you know that? He used to be in WWE. Yeah.
Wait, really?
There. Yeah.
Almighty?
Yeah, the Almighty.
Is his theme song still good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. And they put the Hurt Business back together with MVP and Shelton.
I saw that stuff, but I didn't know if they actually got Robert.
Yeah, so they got him, and so it's Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley, which I think will probably bang.
Bobby Lashley is nuts because all of his muscles seem like they're a moment away from exploding in a way that you've never seen a human muscle explode before.
I've never seen a man with rounder muscles.
Yeah, his skin is so tight.
Just like knobs on this dude's body. It's wild.
That's
Jack Perry, Daniel Garcia, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, John Moxley, Orange Cassidy might be kind of fun. They usually have fun matches together. I'm probably most looking forward to that Strickland Lashley match, but that 4-way tag sounds fun.
That Jay White Hangman match
that'll probably be really good. Yeah,
a freaking bang.
Yeah, so I don't know, not a bad card. I don't put a ton of stock into this, but a bunch of really bad faith WWE caping TikTok accounts have just gone to posting crowd shots of AEW shows. I will say nobody goes to these shows right now. It's pretty crazy. Like there's like no one above like the 10th row at these shows.
That's crazy.
So I don't know what's going on.
They should have them in cities where people live.
I think they should have it in cities where people live. Yeah, I agree. I think Tony can afford it.
It is nuts to me that there hasn't and I don't. WWE does the same thing. Why are there not wrestling shows from the big ones here? Is there a real reason? The closest WWE show to Los Angeles was last month, and it was in Ontario. Why are they not at Staples?
I think it's really expensive.
That's dumb.
I mean, I think it's really expensive. I think they got to know that there's got like a pay-per-view gate and Peacock numbers and all that stuff to make it worth the big venue. I think that'd be my guess.
But here's the thing.
But here's the thing. In the heyday in the late 90s and the early 2000s, when the Attitude Era was like basically boosting WWE and WCW at the same time, like they would often have shows at like the fucking Georgia Dome, like in the middle of like on a Nitro. Like they basically like put like 50,000 people in the Georgia Dome for like a random Monday Nitro.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of different now.
I said that, and I did one on the WWE schedule, and they're at the Raw is at the Intuit Dome. Would you like to take a guess as to what the cheapest in the door ticket is?
Man. When is it?
January 6th.
So it'll be kind of a festive day for WWE, celebrating January 6th.
It is the Netflix premiere.
Oh, also. Wow. So 400?
I was on SeatGeek. I've now clicked through. What the fuck, Richard?
What the fuck, Richard?
Hunter, fix your shit, bud. Okay, now it's going. God, unlock. I'm literally going to email Dan and ask him.
Dan Reichert?
Yes.
Dan, tell them to fix their shit.
Can you let me in? No. That I don't give a shit about that. I want him to get me a ticket. $300.
Okay, all right.
$265 is the cheapest. I can go see SmackDown in San Diego at the Pachanga Casino Arena. And the ticket chart won't load. So
cool.
Who knows?
Hey, listen, if you want to send us a Hive question, you can do so at vgbs.com/join. Just join the Hive, baby, and then come to our Discord, discord.gg/vgbs. And you can go to the Hive category in the Hive content channel and ask us questions. We'll answer them every single week right here on the show. Niki, do you have anything to plug?
No, I mean, it is Game of the Year time. So,
yeah.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say watch Jive Bomb at night, but it's so far away, and we're not selling tickets.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's far away. It's far away.
I was about to like embark on a spiel, but no, there's nothing.
That's not yet. Yeah, well, you can give me the copy for next week, and I'll put it in the show.
Okay. Well, still, there's nothing because we're not. You can't go.
The one after that.
Okay. Well, still, it's
the one after that.
Well, no,
the one that happens after.
There's still not going to be anything that people who are listening to this show who already don't have the information can pay to go attend. Yeah. So
So what you want to do is you want to send $200 to J Grub on Venmo, and then basically they'll send you an email.
Yeah, with the address,
with a number on it and an address. You just show up.
Mm-hmm. Just show up. Everyone's gonna love that.
Do not do that. I really doubt J Grub is his name on Venmo anyway.
It might be.
It might be. I'll plug a few things then. If you're driving, close your eyes. It's a podcast that Niki and I are both on with our best bud, LB Hung Tears. And also Jordo, the producer of this show, is also the producer of that show. So if you're not into that yet, you can be, and you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/if you're driving. You can wish list and purchase a video game that I published if you'd like. It's called Interstate 35. It's over on Steam. I'm really happy about its performance already, but we'd love it if you would go play it. It'll take you about an hour to beat, and if you like games like Norco and Disco Elysium, I think you might like this game a little bit. So go check it out. It's called
I'm looking at 35. The Steam charts right now. It says you sold more of the copies than Call of Duty.
I believe it. We've sold more copies than You know what? I bet we did sell more copies than like a single Call of Duty from like 15 years ago.
Probably.
And
that's all that matters. It's technically correct.
Technically correct. You can also go wish list a game called Fledgling Manor that friends of the show Merritt and LB have also are also making. It comes out next month, so you have about a month to wish list that before it comes out. You should go do that. There's also a demo available that you can play right now, and it's a very cool video game, also a visual novel. It's a little bit beefier than Interstate 35, and I think you're going to like your time. I've played quite a bit of it. I've played a finished version of the game, and it's very exciting. So yeah, go check that out. It's called Fledgling Manor.
It's about vampires.
It's about vampires on a reality show. It's very fun. And I think that's it. Oh, hey, you know what? Go to feetlegal.com. Just do it.
Just do it. Just see what happens.
Listening to this right, just see what happens. Just see what's there. Maybe you get $50 off of your order until January 1st. Pretty exciting stuff. You can play video games with your feet. These will ship out in spring. So go get one. We haven't officially announced that yet anywhere, but I'll announce it here. Why not?
Wow.
Fuck it. You can go buy them now. We'll probably make a social media announcement at some point in the next couple of days, but if you're hearing this, you can go check it out. All right, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. This has been episode 26 of the VGB's podcast. And for Niki and myself, I'm John Warren, and we will see you next time. Until next time, keep on buzzing. Bye.